look at the patch notes now. So these are the patch notes. First thing, these patch notes are not complete. If you want to see the complete video, please check out Mort's video on YouTube. Yes, they nerfed cybernetics slightly. They nerfed it, like Doctor typed in the chat, by 50 HP and 580 on level 6, which I don't think will make the difference. I think it will still be S tier. I think we can still climb with it. Especially because Infiltrators also gets nerfed into Oblivion. And why that? Okay, so let's quickly take the look. Celestial is buffed. So I think what this means in 10.8 is Protector, Sniper, Mystic will be a good comp to go for. You will need Mystic because Sorcerers will blow up with 10.8. 10.8 will, I think, be the Sorcerer meta. So you will need Dragon Claws and you will need Mystics in your comps. But if you now think about Protector, Mystic, Sniper, that could be really strong with 4 Celestials in there. Mech Pilot, nerfed is not quite right. It got buffed if you 2-star all your units basically, or 1 and 2-star all your mech pilots, and it isn't worth anymore that much to 3-star your mech pilots. So this is what changed basically. I think this is not a huge nerf. Space Pirates is still a meme comp. Cybernetic, yeah, like I said, probably will still be S tier. 4 Sorcerers is buffed. I think next patch S tier Sorcerer. I will, as always, bring out an S tier list, but I think it's pretty safe to say that these will be S tier. If you look at the 1 costs, Caitlyn, yeah, it doesn't matter. Xayah might now be, like, the big problem of Xayah is all these buffs don't help, because in the early game, many people play Graves, and Graves is your perfect Xayah counter. And they want to make Xayah this huge early game carry, and you can't make that happen unless you nerf either Vanguards or Graves or both. So, but yet another Xayah nerf. If you go Blade Masters, pick up Xayah basically. Zoe buffed again. I think they might... This is also why Sorcerers will be strong. Zoe is actually not a bad late game unit. Her stun is very powerful. If it hits one of your carries, that could decide a fight potentially. I feel like the scary thing is the new 5 cost making it slightly harder to add Echo. Yeah, that's the biggest Cybernetic nerf. This is not that big. Cybernetic nerf is that they add in the Xerath, and that is the biggest Cyber nerf. So basically, if you want to play Cybers like I do, you want to keep on getting to level 9 and rolling for Echo then. I think then it's still a reliable comp. Again, they nerfed level 8 roll down Cybers. So after this patch, I wouldn't recommend at all rolling down at 8 for an Echo. And that will make it hard to get to 9, but it is worth it, believe me. So, 2 costs. Any slight buff, doesn't matter. Darius already got 2 buffs now. I actually think Darius is a super strong early game unit now. So, I think basically flavoring the Space Pirates with the Graves is very worth it now. Keep that in mind. Like, in early game, you want to pick up the Darius. Lucian deserved. Lucian is way too strong right now. Rakan. Yeah, Rakan gets slightly reworked, so he dashes now to a unit that is a bit further away, and his radius got slightly reduced, so he basically is now able to hit the backline and reduce damage from the backline, so that's good. Shen is buffed. I think that's great. I love Shen. I put him in many of my builds already, so having him even buffed is still so much better. 1 sec, let me quickly turn that down a bit. By the way, this is also a Bang Bros buff. I think that the new Cybers is going to be more towards Cassidy and Xayah now instead of Thresh. Yes. New Cybers is going to Cassidy and Xayah. Wait a second. Instead of Thresh. Well, let's see. Bang Bros Pikachu, how are you? Yeah, the Bang Bro comp is... I hate the Bang Bro comp. Not a cool comp. Shaco. 80 nerfed, ability damage nerfed. I think this is what kills off the Infiltrator comp now. I don't understand why they keep nerfing this. I mean, yes. Infiltrator is too strong right now, but it is because of loose streaking. Infiltrators only works because people can loose streak their way to success. They have changes in here which basically mean that you get a lot more damage now early game if you are losing on purpose, so you can't do that anymore. So actually, Infiltrators got super hard nerfed by this game mechanic change. And now they are nerfing Shaco. I think this will basically make Infiltrators disappear, or Infiltrators will change in the sense that you have to play 6 Infiltrators. By the way, they add like 6 and 9 cost traits now. And if you play 6 infiltrators with Kai'Sa carry, I think that could work. Syndra, this is beyond me. Why they also buff Syndra? Like they buff Zoe, they buff Syndra. Syndra was already a super strong champ. As you saw in my last game, you can win with that. If you have a 3 stars, that's your win condition. Done. You win against a guy like me who has 2 Ludus on level 2, and they buffed her. So this is why I think 100% Sorceress is S tier next patch. 100%, no questions asked. We just need to figure out like the perfect build. 4 cost, Fizz nerf, yeah, who cares? Jinx, Blast the Brawler is kind of underperforming in my opinion. It's not an S tier, it's an A tier comp. So I understand why they want to buff Jinx here. Makes sense to me. Soraka is buffed. I mean, on level 3 I think she heals like for 20,000. So she basically full heals at level 3. Soraka is still for me like, I wouldn't really play her honestly. Except in like maybe a protector comp. Wukong is buffed again. They keep buffing Wukong. He keeps to get now to a level where he actually is a good 4-cost unit. And if you play 4 Vanguards, that is a good buff. Vel'Koz is not a nerf. Spell duration got nerfed, targeting got buffed. It's possibly a buff, that's what Mord said. From what they are testing, Vel'Koz is doing more damage now. So indirectly Void Brawlers got buffed. But in a second we will look at the biggest change in the next patch that will influence the meta also a great deal. Aurelion Sol, yeah, I guess Rebels is a bit more... Like, Rebels got 2 big buffs. Oh, targeting... Oh, so you have played on the PvE, Doctor. So, target is so good now for Vel'Koz. That is brilliant to hear. Void Brawlers might now be actually S tier. I think... Yeah, as you could see in my match history, I'm playing it on Diamond 1 level. It can be successful. I think now it might enter S tier, maybe. We have to see. What hits them hard though is this big change. Mana got nerfed. So a Tier of Goddess, and you need to understand this, goes from 20 mana to 15 mana. Which means that's a huge nerf to all units that require the mana to get their first ability going. Especially Void Brawlers. What I think is, and I mentioned this in my Void Brawler guide on YouTube, this will change how you play Void Brawlers. You need 2 tiers on the Vel'Koz, still, but you can use the Chalice of Favor on the Blitzcrank and you will have the same effect as before. So as Chalice of Favor gives 10 mana to your adjacent units, it basically is the same as before. So if you before, like right now you put a Xerath on your Vel'Koz, after patch you need the Chalice of Favor on your Blitzcrank to have the same effect, but it would still work. But let's keep that between ourselves. Maybe some people need to take more time to figure that one out. Deathblade, it got changed. So Deathblade now starts with 0, but instead of 15, it gets 30 AD a stack. So you might want to choose now Deathblade over Infinity Edge. We have to experiment with that a bit, because for somebody like Aurelia, who quickly kills 1 or 2 units, having a Deathblade, like, she gets stacked super quickly and gets so powerful very, very quickly. So Deathblade might now be worth it on champs that kill units in a quick succession. Jhin, same thing. Frozen Heart got buffed. I think now it's a very viable item on many units, especially like something like the Super Mech. So Frozen Heart in the next meta probably is... So all of these items are now usable. RFC attack range got buffed. I don't see a big use for that, except in the Bang Bros comp. So again, Bang Bros buff. Shroud of Stillness got buffed. I still think great late game item. Really, really good late game item. So you definitely want to pick that up if you have the chance in late game. And Zeke's Herald has been changed. So instead of 5 units, it gives its buff now to 3. But it gives 30% attack speed bonus. So good if you want to play it in something like an Infiltrator comp. If we think about all of these changes now. Streak Gold got changed. So streaking now requires that you keep streaks for longer. So instead of 4 games winning, you want to keep 5 games winning or losing. Player damage got changed, so you can't lose streak that much anymore. Basically, these changes apply that you want to keep on win streaking. Win streaking will be in the next patch one of the most important things to get your gold rolling. Which means that sometimes, what I like to do is play my economy game with losing. I don't really care what I get at the start. It makes it easier to force something, because you can lose streak for the entirety of the early game, and then you just roll for your units that you need, basically. Now, you want to play a strong comp from the start to finish. That makes the game harder, no question about it. Means also that you need to be very aware of what is strong early game. And then the last thing is, so they introduced, where is it? There. 6 infiltrator. So with an infiltrator spat, you can get to 6 infiltrator. I think this is the way to play infiltrators right now.